Welcome to Chasing Curiosity TV. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Headlines flash, U.S. warships return to Subic Bay. The world takes notice as the news spreads like wildfire, signaling a significant shift in the balance of power in the region. A historic alliance is reborn, rekindling a partnership that has stood the test of time. This alliance is not just a relic of the past, but a dynamic force for the future. American military power is back in the Philippines, at a place of immense strategic value, Subic Bay. This location is not just a dot on the map, it is a linchpin in the defense strategy of the region. This isn't just a port call, it's a message to the world, especially across the South China Sea. After decades, U.S. Navy ships once again cut through Subic's deep blue waters, marking a pivotal moment in modern geopolitics. The presence of these vessels is a testament to the enduring strength and commitment of the United States to its allies. The move responds directly to rising tensions and disputes in the region. The Philippines, on the front line of these disputes, has called on its oldest ally for support. This call is not just about military might but about standing together in the face of adversity. The return of U.S. forces is the most visible sign of that support, a living alliance, not just a memory. This renewed partnership is about more than military might. It's a clear message of deterrence. It signifies a commitment to peace and stability, ensuring that the region remains free and open. American and Filipino forces together form a shield, protecting Philippine sovereignty and maritime rights. Subic Bay is once again central to peace and stability in a region vital to global trade. The collaboration between these two nations is a beacon of hope for a peaceful future. The world is watching. What happens here will ripple across the Indo-Pacific. As American and Filipino flags fly side by side, Subic Bay enters a new dramatic chapter. This chapter is not just about military presence, but about the shared values and goals of two nations united in purpose. The shield is raised, the alliance stands ready. Together, they face the challenges of today and tomorrow, prepared to defend their shared interests and uphold the principles of freedom and democracy. Long before the thunder of American warships echoed across its waters, Subic Bay's strategic value was already recognized by the Spanish Empire, who saw in its deep, calm waters a natural stronghold. In 1571, Spanish explorer Juan de Salcedo gazed upon this perfect natural harbor, deep, sheltered, and protected on all sides by the rugged Zambales Mountains and the islands that dotted its entrance. For centuries, Subic's potential was acknowledged but left largely untapped, as Spain poured its resources into developing Manila Bay, the colony's bustling capital and main port. But by the 1800s, the world was changing. European powers were expanding their empires across Asia, and Spain found itself in need of a safer, more defensible naval base to protect its interests in the region. In 1884, King Alfonso IV issued a royal decree, officially designating Subic Bay as a naval port. A bold move to secure Spain's hold in the Pacific. Spanish engineers and laborers soon arrived, determined to carve a mighty fortress from the dense jungle. They dredged channels, built sturdy seawalls, and laid the foundations for workshops, dry docks, and barracks, envisioning a modern naval complex that could rival any in Asia. Yet the dream was slow to materialize. Construction was hampered by the unforgiving tropical climate, disease, and the sheer logistical challenge of building in such a remote location. Delays mounted, and the hardships of the jungle, relentless heat, torrential rains, and outbreaks of malaria plagued the project at every turn. Before Spain could complete its ambitious plans, the Spanish-American War erupted in 1898, bringing chaos and uncertainty to the archipelago. Spain's centuries-long rule ended abruptly, and the unfinished base, once a symbol of imperial ambition, was left behind, its future uncertain as a new power approached. The Americans would soon inherit Subic Bay, seizing the opportunity to transform it into a naval stronghold that would far surpass anything the Spanish had imagined. As the sun rose over Subic Bay, a new era was about to begin, one that would shape the destiny of this natural harbor for generations to come. The Spanish-American War of 1898 changed everything. In a matter of months, the balance of power in the Pacific shifted dramatically, as the United States emerged as a new imperial force, challenging the old European empires for dominance in Asia. After Commodore Dewey's stunning victory at Manila Bay, the U.S. took control of the Philippines, and with it, the deep, sheltered waters of Subic Bay. This natural harbor, once a quiet outpost, was suddenly thrust into the spotlight of global strategy. President Theodore Roosevelt, ever the visionary, saw Subic's potential as a forward base to project American power in Asia. He understood that whoever controlled Subic Bay could influence the entire region, from the South China Sea to the Pacific Rim. The Americans finished what the Spanish started, rapidly expanding the base. They poured resources and manpower into transforming Subic from a sleepy anchorage into a formidable military installation. Dry docks, workshops, and the Olongapo Naval Station rose quickly, their construction echoing the ambitions of a nation eager to secure its new foothold in the East. The U.S. Marine Corps established a permanent presence, and Subic became a cornerstone of American strategy. Marines patrolled the base, trained local forces, and ensured that Subic would never fall easily into enemy hands. By the early 1900s, Subic Bay was a primary repair and supply station for the U.S. Asiatic Fleet. Warships from across the Pacific came here for refit and resupply, making Subic a hive of naval activity. Its ship repair facility became legendary, able to fix anything from patrol boats to mighty aircraft carriers. Subic's skilled workers and state-of-the-art equipment kept the fleet ready for action at a moment's notice. Subic grew into a self-contained American city, symbolizing U.S. power in Southeast Asia. Schools, churches, and even movie theaters sprang up, creating a slice of America thousands of miles from home. The base fueled Olongapo's growth, bringing prosperity and social tensions. Filipino workers found new opportunities, but the rapid changes also sparked friction between cultures, forever altering the town's identity. By World War I, Subic Bay was the Western Pacific's strategic anchor, a fortress ready for the challenges ahead. Its guns and ships stood as a warning to any who might threaten American interests in the region. Its importance was undeniable, but greater tests loomed on the horizon. The world was changing, and Subic would soon find itself at the center of storms both political and military. Subic's true trial was yet to come. The stage was set for the next chapter in its dramatic history, a chapter that would test the resolve of all who called this bastion home. During World War I, Subic Bay was a vital support hub, keeping U.S. and Allied ships supplied in the Pacific. The base deterred potential threats, even as the main fighting raged far away. After the war, the Washington Naval Treaty of 1922 changed everything. Article 19 banned new fortifications at Subic, leaving it vulnerable as Japan's power grew. American planners, including General MacArthur, warned that the Philippines couldn't be defended without stronger bases. The U.S. shifted its main Pacific fleet to Pearl Harbor, but Subic remained a key logistics point. The base operated under a cloud of strategic vulnerability, unable to expand or fortify. As Japan's aggression in Asia increased, Subic's limitations became clear. The dream of an impregnable fortress was put on hold. By the 1930s, Subic Bay was both vital and exposed, on the front line as new threats gathered. The storm of another world war was approaching. When war with Japan erupted in December 1941, Subic Bay was among the first targets. Unable to defend the base, U.S. forces destroyed facilities to deny them to the enemy. The Japanese occupied the ruins, rebuilding Subic as a key naval base for their campaigns. Allied prisoners and local laborers suffered under brutal conditions. The bay became a graveyard. Allied air raids sank Japanese ships, some carrying prisoners, with tragic loss of life. In January 1945, U.S. and Filipino forces launched the campaign to retake Subic. Guerrilla fighters aided the advance, and Japanese defenders fought fiercely, but were overwhelmed. On January 29, 1945, Subic Bay was liberated. The base was in ruins, but its recapture marked a turning point in the fight for the Philippines. Subic's darkest chapter ended, setting the stage for its greatest era. The bay would soon rise from the ashes. A new beginning was at hand. General MacArthur's promise, "I shall return," became reality with the liberation of Subic Bay in 1945. Even in ruins, the bay was vital for the final push against Japan. The U.S. Navy's Seabees worked miracles, clearing wrecks and rebuilding facilities for the invasion fleet. After the war, Subic's importance only grew. The 1946 Military Bases Agreement gave the U.S. a 99-year lease, sparking massive expansion. Subic became the largest overseas U.S. military installation, a self-contained city with its own power, schools, and hospitals. At its peak, thousands of Americans and tens of thousands of Filipinos lived and worked there. The base pumped millions into the Philippine economy and anchored U.S. strategy in Asia. Subic was home port to the U.S. 7th Fleet, projecting power across the Pacific. As the Cold War heated up, Subic stood as a bulwark against communist expansion. During the Vietnam War, Subic Bay became the logistical powerhouse of the U.S. 7th Fleet. Its motto, "Can Do," defined the base's spirit. The ship repair facility was the world's busiest, with Filipino and American workers fixing everything from destroyers to carriers. The supply depot stocked everything a fleet could need, making prolonged operations possible. Subic was also a sanctuary for rest and recreation, fueling Olongapo's economy and shaping local life. The QB Point Naval Air Station kept carrier-based aircraft flying high. Subic Bay was the unsung hero of the Vietnam War, sustaining the U.S. Navy's powerful presence. Its logistical might made the difference in the long campaign. Subic's role was indispensable. In June 1991, Mount Pinatubo erupted, ending Subic Bay's golden age. Operation Fiery Vigil evacuated tens of thousands as ash and typhoon rains buried the base. Buildings collapsed, and the once mighty QB Point Air Station was rendered unusable. The devastation was total. Subic looked like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Rebuilding costs soared and the Cold War had just ended. Meanwhile, Philippine nationalism surged, and the Senate voted against renewing the U.S. bases agreement. With no treaty and massive damage, the U.S. withdrew. On November 24, 1992, the last American forces departed. The stars and stripes were lowered. A century of U.S. presence ended in a somber farewell. Subic Bay's future was uncertain. After the U.S. left, Subic Bay faced an uncertain future. The Philippine government transformed the base into the Subic Bay Freeport Zone, a hub for business and tourism. Volunteers cleaned up the ash, and international companies moved in. The port welcomed cargo ships and cruise liners while the jungles became nature reserves. Subic reinvented itself, driving the Philippine economy. The Philippine Navy established its headquarters and U.S. warships returned for port calls under new agreements. Today, as China asserts itself in the South China Sea, Subic's strategic value is renewed. Under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, the U.S. is investing in new facilities and joint operations. Subic Bay stands once again as a sentinel, a shield for the Philippines and a symbol of alliance in a new era. Its importance endures, as critical now as ever.